Hello? What's going
You
on,
hear me?
Queen? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Your phone kind of breaking up a
How you
little
doing?
bit though.
Oh
I'm
Lord.
doing good. I'm doing good. And yourself?
Hopefully we can
Yeah, it's
get
kind of
through.
breaking up. Hopefully, I hope everything is okay.
How is
Is
it?
everything all right?
I can hear you clearly. Can you all hear me in the audience?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can't see you too well, but we can hear you.
Okay.
I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You got
Matrixy a little bit.
Well, hopefully if you can hear me, the information will still be good.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. So thank y'all for coming through. Thank you for being a guest this evening. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
I definitely appreciate the invitation.
Most definitely. Now, I've been following you for a little while, and you give out great content, and I kind of want to let the people know who you are, Black Small Biz. If you don't know who she is, she's a great queen, giving out a lot of information and bringing some great things to the community, to the culture, and to the marketplace. So can you tell them who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so like you said, I am the owner. I started this platform to be able to, you know, help Black people to be able to get into different businesses, right? So originally, I was sharing something called minority certification. I know you said you follow me. I don't know if you've heard me talk about the minority certification programs or not.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
a
that's
little bit
originally what
about
I
it. It
set
was
out to
maybe a
share
few
with
months ago.
people. Yeah.
Okay, it's minority
Exactly. So
certification program.
basically that's the government certification that is sorry, this is why my internet is not working. Thank you. So hopefully this will be better. Yeah, so that's when I originally started teaching my audio program. So minority certification is being able to access government contracts simply based off of the fact that you are a minority, you own a business, and you can get access to government contracts. But it also helps you to be able to access.
It froze up again, Queen. You're freezing up again, Queen. Can't hear you. The Queen was talking about can't hear you at all, Queen. It's just it's circling and was just talking about she probably come back how she started her platform to inform the community about minority certifications and how you can get contracts with the government. Everybody coming in, what they do. Mindset Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle. Y'all know what it is. Trey Snatch in the building. What's going on? Cam Bless. What's going on? Everybody stepping in. We have a Black Small Biz. Hopefully she'll be able to come back. She have some better reception. What she was saying is that she started her platform to inform the community about minority certifications and how you can get contracts with the government. So she was just about to go into that when she froze up. And I find that very interesting. And that's a resource that we need, especially starting up businesses. I don't know so much about it, but what I hopefully should be able to come back in. But what I do know about it is that whatever business that you do, whether it's social media marketing to catering services, you'll be able to get a contract with the government. So she was just going into that and a little bit more in depth into that situation. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I promise y'all I'm not normally that unprofessional. Okay. But hopefully y'all can hear me now.
Absolutely. We can hear you, Queen.
Okay, perfect. So just to recap what I was saying, I don't know why I have this menu open now, but we're going to go with it. Just to recap what I was saying, I originally started sharing with my audience the minority certification. And along the journey of explaining what minority certification can actually do for your business, people were interested in why I decided to get involved with minority certification. So obviously the reason why is because I was in trucking and those opportunities came up by utilizing minority certification. And that's where people were like, well, we want to hear about the trucking. So that's where we are today. I do talk about both topics, but the reason why is because the minority certification is what helped us to grow our business. And so, you know, now with that being said, I know you wanted me to come on here and share information, you know, with you all as regards to the trucking industry. But that's basically why I have those topics going on.
Okay, so let's unpack one at a time just for a brief second. So let's go to the minority certification. Is that specifically geared towards trucking, or could it be for any type of business?
It's for any type of business. And that's why I was so excited to share it, because most people don't know. Most people think it's only beneficial if you want to do government contracts. And so my goal is to be able to let people understand, like, even if you have a barbershop, you know, there are barbershops in certain states that are minority certified. There's fast food franchises that are minority certified. So it runs the whole gamut. When you look into getting minority certified, the one thing that is going to help you to determine if you can qualify is if your business has something called a NAICS code, NAICS.
Okay.
So if you have a NAICS code for the type of work that you're doing in your business, you can get minority certified. It's not limited to trucking only.
How do you go about getting the NAICS code? Is that a
You
free
can search.
resource?
What I do is go straight to Google, type in NAICS code, NAICS, right? Type that into Google. I personally like to use the one that's the Census Bureau, so it'll say census.gov. But you can go in and use any of those platforms once you type in NAICS code to search for your business, you know, dealings, to see what's in there. And it doesn't have to be broad. Like, you know, when you're talking about trucking, for example, I got minority certified for 484220, right? Generalized freight. But there were other things that we could have been certified for, like snow removal, you know, some things that fall under the landscaping code. So it's really about identifying what you do in your business and finding that NAICS code. If you can do that, you can run with the minority certification.
Okay, so let's say you run trucks, right? And you see something for snow removal, but you don't particularly have the equipment for snow removal. Is that something that you could still obtain and then hire a snow removal company and get them to do it on like a contractor?
That's a really good question. Okay. Now, this is a fine line. It's a really good question because I tried to do this. Okay. So what they do with minority certification is they're going to ask you questions. They're going to interview you basically, and you need to be able to let them know that the task that you are getting certified for, you can actually perform it, right? So you have two schools of thought here. One, if you do not have the equipment, you personally cannot perform that work, right? However, if you are able to hire it out, you can still cover the contract. So you can look at it like that and bring that out to them. But here's the loophole. Like, I love a good loophole. I call myself the loophole girl, right?
Absolutely.
So typically when you think about snow removal, you think about snow plows and you think about the salt spreader, right? But in certain areas that have a very metropolitan feel, you're going to have instances where no. So if you have a dump truck or a dump trailer, now you're performing snow removal duties even though you don't have that equipment. Does that make sense?
Yes, that
Can you
makes
hear me?
sense. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh no, I hope I didn't freeze. It's good. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I didn't freeze. Okay, so that's the kind of thought process you have to go through when picking your NACE codes and your contract opportunities. You have to be able to perform that task.
Now, would you let them know that you're going to get it done? Or, I mean, you have to put that in a wording to say that, you know, you have the resources in order to get it done, correct?
Right. So when the first thing you're going to do is when you apply for the certification, you're going to be assigned a representative. And so you can explain that situation to your representative, let you know if you should proceed with that NACE code. So me being, I thought was very clever of myself. I went to all the people who had similar trucking companies to mine, and I looked at the NACE codes they were using. Oh, if they can do it, I can do it, right? So I submitted over 30 NACE codes, and they basically told me, okay, you only qualify for about 4 of these. After they talked to me and I explained what I wanted to do, they only qualify for about 4 of these, but then they actually told me what changes I needed to make in order to qualify for some of the other ones. So just because you don't qualify today doesn't mean that you can't qualify and get that certification later on down the road. So if they say, you know, oh, in order to really qualify for snow removal, you need the equipment, it's not much to just buy the equipment. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it gives you either a yes or it gives you something to work to.
Starting to break up again, Queen.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, you back now. Are you? I think you froze again. I'm not sure. Okay, can you hear me? What's going on? It's a connection. We're trying to get this connection together. She was just talking about how you get certified and get your code to be able to get government contracts in whatever realm that your business is in. So she's specifically talking about the trucking realm, but it does not have to be the trucking realm. It could be a barbershop. It could be a production studio. It could be, you know, social media marketing. There's numerous different codes that you could do specifically on your business, whatever business that you may have, and you'll be able to get the code for it. I was just reiterating some of the things that you were saying, Queen. Can't hear you. It's no sound. You freezing up again, Queen. Now I have so many questions. I have so many more questions to ask you.
Yes,
too.
and hopefully y'all nodding. I hope it's making sense to you all. But again, the goal is can't hear me.
You coming in and out. You were like, I hope it's making sense to you, and the goal is. So it got blocked. I couldn't hear anything before and then anything after that. Okay, I can hear some sound now. Oh, I got so many questions to ask the Queen. She's breaking down how you can get government contracts with your business, regardless of what your business is. So she's talking about the different codes and how you get awarded these contracts or get eligible to bid on these particular contracts. I have so many more questions for the Queen. I'm curious if these contracts are just federal, are they state, are they county? Can you do it on all 3 different levels? What's the different requirements for each of them? How long does the process take? I have so many questions, and they're all, involved with whatever businesses that we're dealing with, from car washing to consulting. So I'm so interested in hearing how to get involved with this and how to be able to take the businesses to the next level. Did you hear some of the questions that I said? I have so many questions for you. No sound.
Yes, I
Okay,
did. Can you
I can hear you now. Now I can hear
hear?
you. Yes, I can hear you now. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, oh my God. Okay, yes. All right. So I did hear a couple of the questions, and I saw questions pop up in the comment. If you had a question and it was in the comments, please put it back in the comments.
Um, Let me see. I see. What about if you do multiple things, can you get coded for those as well, or just one? Can't hear you, Queen. You freezing up again. Oh man. Whether it's the Instagram, they don't want us to get these jewels, y'all. They don't want us to get these jewels. They don't want they don't want us to pipe up the biz. They don't want us to know how to pipe up the biz, man. What's the topic tonight? We're talking with Black Small Biz, and she's telling us how to, get our businesses to contract with the government, regardless of what business that you do, whether it's social media marketing, whether it's consulting, whether it's trucking. So I'm interested to know these different levels of government that can be contracted with, and what's the requirement for the different levels. She was saying whether it's barbershop, whether it's consulting, it doesn't matter. They have different codes that's called NACS codes that you're able to apply for and get under these codes, so you can go ahead and do this, because we all have some type of business regardless of what it is, right? And we're all looking of ways to expand and build on our business. So what better way to find out how to do business with the government, because you'll be once you get that situated, you'll be guaranteed a certain amount of work. So now, as being an entrepreneur, it fluctuates, right? Some months you have good months, some months you have bad months. But if you're able to learn how to contract with the government on these various levels, you always could be, I'm not going to say dependent, but you always could have a hairstylist and public speaker. So, I'm just thinking of the different concepts, but I mean, people in the military still have to get their hair done, have to get cuts. Even a public speaker, they want to be motivated or educated on their downtime and things like that. So you would, exactly, the fluctuation hurts. So you never know. You have fixed, Kaizen Investor, what they do. Make sure y'all check out her Soul Food Sundays, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to her YouTube channel. You know what I mean? The queen is doing great things out here. But so like I was saying, that when you have a business, it fluctuates. So but you have fixed cost, right? So when you have variable revenue coming in, you know what I'm saying, a fluctuating revenue, sometimes it covers your costs, sometimes you're over, sometimes you're under. But if you're able to contract with the government, you can project now and say, okay, well, I know I have this much in business coming every month because I have these services going out like that. And then you can move from there. You can use some of that consistent funds to do with marketing or expansion or more working capital in order to scale. So this is a perfect segue into, whatever business you do, opportunity to what they do. Truck and Justin, the queen's having bad reception. She was just breaking down government contracts and how to get your NAICS codes with the government contracts. There she is, back in the mix. Y'all not gonna want to miss this. You know what I mean? Black Lotus, the brand and lifestyle. 7 p.m. Mindset Monday. I got some great information for y'all. Got the great queen on. We just working out some of the technical difficulties. Can you hear me, Queen?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Queen?
Yes,
Yes,
I
I
can
can
hear you.
hear
Can
you.
you
You're
hear me?
still starting to freeze up. Yes, I can hear you. So, first
Yes.
question is, when you were talking about the government
This
contracts and getting
is
the NAICS codes, is that for the federal, state, or county level?
so in order to be able to get contracts at any of those levels, you need to identify what you're going to do. So the NAICS code is going to be used no matter which level you apply for contracts at. And certain cities
Okay.
might have their own codes.
Okay. Is there the question someone asked, what if you do multiple things? Can you sign up for multiple codes or
So you just want to make sure what you're doing is congruent. So if you are operating a trucking business and you're going to get certified for trucking, it probably doesn't make sense for you to also get certified for a barbershop, because those are really two separate businesses. Does that make sense? So when
yes.
you are thinking about, can I get certified for multiple things? You might just have to start another business. So you might have to put your trucking under one entity and your barbershop under another and your real estate under another. But you can get all of those companies certified. So just because you get your trucking business certified doesn't mean you can't get the other businesses done as well.
Okay. Now, what if you I know someone who started one business and then went to something else. So their business is like a property business, like it says properties on it, but now they're into trucking. So it's like they have a properties but doing business as trucking. Is that
If
something
they
they can
have,
do?
if they already have a DBA, and let's say you had something properties and then you had BJ's trucking as a DBA and it's registered with the state. If you have that as a DBA, that falls under all the same company, even though the name is properties. It's a name, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who have trucking companies. It doesn't say anything about trucking. Some people have trucking companies and it says contracting. Some people say have trucking and it says services, right? So just because
Yeah.
that's the name doesn't necessarily mean anything, because when you file a DBA, that parent company is really what you're doing your returns on, right? And you're able to do business as however many DBAs you assign.
Okay. What's the
Yeah.
requirements in business on average for to get registered with that? Does it have to be a certain amount of years? Do you have to show a certain amount of tax returns, or can I start a business tomorrow and then sign up for the NAICS codes tomorrow?
Well, it really depends on where you're located. So I had a student who was taking my trainings, and, I never experienced you having to be in business for a certain amount of time. So she was in the state of New York and she called me. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't even get certified because I haven't been in business for 2 years," right? So it really
Mhm.
depends on the state and the jurisdiction that you live in. Most of my students come back and they say, "Oh, I don't have to wait." One of my students in California informed me that she was going through the process and she was able to get her business certified, even though she hasn't been in business for a year yet, right? So you just have to check the requirements in your state. Across the board, though, there's just some main eligibility requirements to keep in mind. So you're going to need to be a for-profit business. So if you're operating a nonprofit, you're not going to qualify for minority certification, okay? But if you want to open a for-profit sister company of your business and you're going to have a separate tax ID and it's going to be for profit, maybe you're going to do the same activity and it's not 501(c), then get that one certified, right? But as a nonprofit, you just don't qualify. The other requirement is going to be that it needs to be a business that's 51% owned and operated. by a minority. So what that means is if you have a partner and your partner is not a minority, then you have to own 51% of that business in order for you to qualify for the minority certification, right? But let's say you
Yeah.
guys have a 50-50 partnership, they're not interested in changing it. It doesn't mean you can't get certified because there's a bunch of certifications available, right? So I always talk about minority certification, but you might qualify for veteran certification, for women-owned business, for disadvantaged, where disadvantaged business enterprise, that certification only requires you to not be making too much money, right? They want you to be under a certain threshold when it comes to how profitable your business is or how much money you're bringing in. So that means that anybody could qualify, right? So you just have to qualify or apply for the certifications that really make sense for your business. And if one says, if you get a denial for one, that doesn't mean you don't necessarily qualify for other certifications. So just pursue every single one that you qualify for.
So they would be looking under their state NAICS codes
Well,
for
the
their
NACE
business.
codes
That's where they
are
start.
federal. NACE codes are federal. So no matter what
Okay.
state you live in, there's going to be a 6-digit code for the type of business you're operating, right? What you're going to do on your state level is just look for your minority certifications. If you type in minority certifications, Georgia, minority certification, Texas, no matter what state you're in, it's going to direct you to the offices that administer those applications. For some people, it's not even going to be called minority certification. For some people, it might be diversity inclusion. But I promise you, if you Google minority certification, Georgia, Texas, New York, whatever your state is, you'll be able to find information on it because the program is administered in all 50 states in one way, shape, or form.
Okay. And when you register for this and you get approved, now you have the ability to bid on contracts, correct?
Well, you have the ability to bid on contracts whenever, right? So as long as your business qualifies to bid on a contract, you don't have to be minority certified in order to get government contracts. The thing is that there are contracts that they set aside for minorities. So if you have an opportunity to qualify for 100 contracts just because you own a business, but because you get minority certified, you might qualify for 1,000 contracts. So there's a big difference between qualifying for 100 and qualifying for 1,000. The alternative to that is when they're looking for people to complete these contracts, if they're looking for somebody to do the dump truck hauling of asphalt to pave I-95, right? There could be 1,000 companies that apply for that opportunity, right? But the thing is, if the contract makes a certain amount of money, what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to make sure that not only the big guys win. They want to make sure that, owner operators like us, maybe small companies, maybe medium-sized companies, are able to get access to these larger contracts. So what they say is, okay, big company, if you're going to win this contract, you have to bring along one minority company, and 25%, 29% of that company, or excuse me, of that contract has to be paid out to minority-owned businesses. Does that make sense so far? Let me know, because it can be confusing.
Absolutely.
I want to
No,
pause and make
absolutely.
sure it makes sense.
Are they
Okay.
two questions with that? Are they breaking up the contract? So let's just say it's $100,000 contract for that. They're gonna split it and say, okay, well, 70,000 goes to the big company and 30,000 is gonna be set aside for these small companies.
Well, basically, it's not just about the money. The goal here with this whole program is like a business building program, right? So the goal is, okay, day one, BJ's Trucking, you only got one truck. You can't complete this huge contract, right? But we're going to require them to be able to use you so that maybe you can learn the ropes and you can buy 5 trucks, 10 trucks, and later on you can be the main person bidding on this contract, right? Because the goal is to graduate out of the program. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I literally forgot what your question was. I kind of veered off track just a little bit with that last
Okay.
explanation.
What?
But
Wow. Okay. So it was basically like, okay. So I was just using a number. Like, so the big company has the $100,000 contract, let's just say, and opposed to them breaking
100,030.
the
Yeah.
contract a piece, yeah, giving them 70,000 to give you 30, they still get the whole 100, but they have to give you 30,000 of work within that particular contract, basically.
That's correct. That's correct. Absolutely correct. And then what happens is when you come in and you do work that's good, they're going to keep using you. So when we got our first opportunity to work on a minority certification contract, number one, we got a $25 raise off the break, right? Because we were no longer going under brokers. The contract, there was a big contract. The huge company was awarded the contract, and I was something like second or third in line versus the past where we were like fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth in line, right? So we were making pennies. And then now we had an opportunity to be the named minority on a contract. So that meant that if that contract was 100,000, like you said, they had no choice but to pay out a minimum of 29,000 to us, right? But because we were doing good work, they continue to allow us to add more trucks to it. So it got to a point where we weren't just providing our truck, we were providing 10 trucks a day. So that's the opportunity here. You go through the process, you get certified, you get access to the opportunities, and then you can bring other people along. So once we got minority certified, what happened was instead of us just being able to go and get work for our trucks, we had 20 people that were working under us, 20 other Black owned trucking companies that were working under us. So we brought money in for us, but we were also allowed to bring these people in, give them a raise, and let them get access to this government contract because it was a whole gravy train. Does that make sense? You know, that's the whole point for me of why it's so powerful.
I got some more questions for you. If I'm asking too many, please let me know. If I'm, you know what I'm saying? So, did those other trucking companies that were under you have to have their authority as well, or they could have just had a truck and kind of leased on under y'all for that particular situation?
So at the time we was running dump trucks, so nobody was leasing onto us. All these people had their own trucking companies, right? But let's say you're in a situation where you can allow people to operate under your authority. Perfect situation. If these people are trustworthy and you're willing to put you're willing to allow them access to use your authority, your DOT number. If that's okay with you. So now what you're doing is just making it so that you are able to better fulfill on that contract. Because these larger companies, they don't want to work with 20, 30 owner operators, right? They really want to work with one company that has a whole bunch of trucks so that they can fulfill their orders. So the more trucks you can bring in, whether they're leasing onto you or whether you are just brokering out the work, it is going to be beneficial for them to use you. And it's actually better. So if they know that they can hire a minority owned business that also brings a whole ton of trucks in so they can make one call and fill a 20 truck per day order, they're going to love that, as opposed to having to go through a whole bunch of different companies. So that little 29,000 could turn out to be more, 50, 60,000 because you're providing more equipment for them to be able to use.
Okay, now, is there like some type of contract load board that people look at for these things?
So all government contracts, anytime they spend in government money, it has to be public information. So you can go onto any state's website and you can look up your NACE code. This is why the NACE code is so important. I want y'all to know half the stuff I'm answering these questions, like this is exactly what I'm teaching my students. So I hope y'all paying attention and taking notes, okay? There is a load board per se. There's a contract site on every state. That every county that has contracts going out, they're going to have a place where you can search. And so what you're doing is you're using that NACE code that you found for your business, and you're searching the databases to say, okay, what contracts are coming up for businesses, or excuse me, for people who have this NACE code. But the point is, the reason why you get certified is if you're not minority certified, you got to go and look at these states' websites all the time. But when you do get minority certified, they email you. Every single day I get an invitation to bid or an invitation to submit a solicitation for some work that's coming up. They're asking for information for contracts that are not going to start working until 2023. And right now they're looking for the people who are going to complete those contracts, right? So the work comes to you when you get the certification. It's a different dynamic. And that's why I like it so much. So we went from having to do things like beg brokers for work and sit on low boards to the opportunities just literally coming in the inbox. That's why it's so important for me to let other people know about it.
Okay. So they now the business starts to come after you, opposed to you trying to always search for the business, doing it that way, and that's getting a minority certification, and that's on the federal level or on the state level, or both.
Minority certification is going to be on the state level. And this is where I was telling you, it's going to be different things. Like you might have a hub, HUB, a hub zone certification. You might have a disadvantaged business certification, right? So there are different certifications. It depends on your state. So in the state of Maryland, if you're DBE certified, that's more on a federal level. Minority certification, or MBE, in the state of Maryland, it will give you access to like Maryland contracts. And then each county can have their own certification. So the city of Baltimore has its own certification and has its own thing for women. Same thing with PG County. So again, this is why it's important for you to go to your state and search, or like I said, go to Google and search your state and minority certification, because they will tell you all the different things that you can get. In Maryland, I can get 23 different certifications if I potentially qualify for them. I don't qualify for all of them, but that's what's out there.
Okay, so now let me ask you this question, because I'm in Florida and I'm in the capital, and it's nothing but government here. So it's every department that you could think of. Department of Financial Services, Consumer Services, Agriculture, Education, all that. So does each department have its own contracts you can get, or is it a statewide type of situation to where are you looking for these specific departments and what they offer, or you're looking at one big thing as far as the state is concerned?
So when you put in your NACE code information, they're going to send you opportunities for anything that you qualify for, right? But let's say that for women own minority businesses, and you have to be certified for that on a Prince George's County level. If you don't have that certification, they're not going to be sending that solicitation to you. Now, it could be you're doing a reverse where you're searching for work and you might stumble across something that's for your NACE code, but you can still not be qualified. So it's not necessarily just a state, is it state, federal, and all that. You're going to be sent work for what you qualify for. If you are searching for work, you just need to make sure that you're paying attention to what certification they're asking for. So when you go to a state's website or you go to a federal website, it says, hey, this is for, the Department of Defense. It's in Texas, but just because it's in Texas doesn't mean you can't qualify for it by living in Florida. You just have to, make sure that you can meet the requirements. So it's a huge all-encompassing thing. It's a crazy opportunity. You just have to start getting in there and getting your feet wet. people make the mistake of thinking they have to know all the ins, and you just got to go and start getting the information. And when you start to get your eyes open to it, you can literally spiral out of control from the opportunity.
So another state would email you as well. We're just gonna say Massachusetts, they email you about snow removal in Massachusetts, even though you're in Maryland, and as long as you're able to find the work to move snow in that area for a price, you could still get that contract in Massachusetts, correct?
If you are eligible to operate your business in Massachusetts. So if you're certified in the state of Florida, because that's where you started your business at, you can go and get certified in Massachusetts. But just because you got certified in Florida doesn't mean Massachusetts is going to send you information. If you are eligible to work in Massachusetts, you will also apply there. Does that make sense? So
Yes,
it's not just given to you. It's, there's a couple of things I just want to, it's a sidebar I want to tell you guys. You're only going to be able to bid on what you qualify for. So if there is an opportunity that you seek pop up for Massachusetts, you can't apply for that or bid on that opportunity unless you are eligible for it. So they will turn you down if you really don't meet the eligibility requirements, right? You won't even be able to go forward with it. The other thing I want to make clear is that minority certification does not guarantee you contracts. Just because you get minority certified doesn't mean, oh, here's a contract. You still have to bid on it. You're still going to have to submit proposals unless you are working with a company that just bids on contracts and they always use your info. They always use you as their minority. That's one thing. But no matter what, if you're going to get certified and you want these opportunities, you're going to have to bid on contracts. This is not like the 8A program where you can kind of cherry pick people. You have to apply and your bid has to be the winning bid. Okay. I feel like there was one more thing. I can't remember it, but we'll come back to it. But I just want to make that clear. Oh, the third thing was that minority certification does not get you funding. Okay. Just because you get minority certified doesn't mean you're going to get grants, loans. It has nothing to do with grants. It's strictly the ability to bid on contracts. But more importantly, you're meeting a quota, right? They have a quota of a minimum of between 23-29% participation goals. And if these companies don't meet that quota, then they're not going to get the tax incentives or their jobs can be shut down. It's a big deal, right? So it's mandated. So even though it's mandated, nothing's a handout and it doesn't have anything to do with funds. I just want to make those things clear.
Speaking of funds, I'm glad you brought that up, because speaking of funds, my next question was, okay, so and so needs a boat moved. We're gonna say a boat purchased and delivered to them. We're just gonna say, right? You qualify for it because you're a trucking company. We're just giving hypotheticals. Now, you went and priced the boat. The boat is $50,000. To move it and everything is going to be $60,000. The contract is for $70,000. We're just going to say, right? So technically speaking, once everything's done, $10,000 would be your cut, in a sense, your business's profit for orchestrating it. Now, do you have to spend that $60,000 up front and then get reimbursed the $70,000 on the back? Is that how that works?
So we're talking about a bunch of different moving parts here, but what you're talking about is basically brokering the work out for the contract. So you're not going to move the boat yourself, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a couple of different things. Just remember what I said earlier. Anything that you're going to use your minority certification for, you are going to need to be able to perform that work yourself. So in the event that you get this contract and you are allocating it out to someone else, just keep in mind, you have to be able to perform that yourself as well. The other thing is, as far as the money goes, if you're just transporting, that don't have nothing to do with you. They need to buy the boat and then they pay you. So when I say you're talking about brokering, it sounds like to me you're brokering a transaction where you found a boat and the buyer needs to pay 70,000 for it, and then you had to pay 50 out to get it moved. Is that what you're saying? 50,000 to move it? Is that what you were saying?
Basically, like you see a contract for a particular county or something like that, or a state, and they're saying that they, this particular department needs a boat. The wildlife department needs a new swamp boat. You know what I mean? And I'm just throwing out a random situation.
So there's a couple of examples that could happen with this. The solicitation might be they actually want a boat, right? They want you to find them a boat. So if you can find the boat, like you said, and you can buy the boat for 50 and you charge the government 70, yeah, you pocket whatever is in the middle. That's all you, right? But the other thing that happens is when that boat is purchased, that boat needs to be moved. So there might be a solicitation for the fact that the county or state, whatever, bought the boat, but now they need a truck to move it from point A to point B. So it just depends on how the solicitation is put out there. But for me, if I was the person who was going to bid on that contract, the first one I mentioned, where you're going to source the boat, find it, and you get to pocket that money in the middle. If that was my situation, the way that you sweeten the pot, or the way that you make things better, is that you're using a minority to do the work as well. So you don't want to be getting the work because you're a minority and then pocketing the money in the middle and all that stuff and just using any old body. That's how I ended up with my first contract. Somebody was doing what you were talking about. They won the contract. They hired someone else to complete the work. And when the inspectors came to the job site, they didn't see no minorities working. And so they lost their contract, and that's how I picked it up. So it's very possible you can pocket some good money by facilitating these arrangements and getting these contracts and getting minority certified, but you got to make sure you're doing the right thing every step of the way, because it's a paper trail and they want to make sure that the right people are getting access, because there's a lot of fraud in minority certification.
That makes sense. So you would get reimbursed. You'd have to put up the funds first and then get reimbursed on the back end. That's how that works. That's why you were talking about loans, getting loans and funding.
Well, so here's the thing. It's however you operate your business is up to you. So that doesn't have anything to do with the minority certification or the government contracts. How you operate your business is going to be completely separated from that agreement. So if you have the funds to make that purchase, you can do that. Or you might have a situation where you have financing and all that stuff. Like how you get that done is completely separate from the minority certification aspect. And if you need funds for that, that has nothing to do with it. The only thing minority certification has to do with financing is if you get minority certified, some lending institutions will give you a break. So they'll give you a better interest rate or something like that simply because you're certified. But those two things don't really have anything to do with each other. So it just depends on how you want to operate your business. If you get a contract with the government, they don't care about how it's paid for. If you're saying the government is going to pay for this boat, in order for them to deliver the boat, the government would have to pay for it. But as far as do you have to put the money up first, that's up to you for your business model. Do you want to have the boat on hand to just hand over, or is there going to be a transaction that needs to be had? Does that make sense?
So you could do it either way. You could say, hey, y'all pay for this boat and I'm gonna get it delivered to you. I'm gonna get it delivered to you, and they're going to pay for it, and then once you deliver it, they'll pay you for the delivery type of situation.
Right.
So it'll be two different transactions, basically.
It just depends on how you set up your business model. Do you want to collect the money first, or are you going to finance it yourself until the government sends the check? Like, if you have the boat, that's one thing. So that's why I'm saying, if you're going to broker, you need to figure out how you're going to model it. So typically the government is going to be expecting that they're going to get this boat from someone who has it, right? So that's why I said they're not going to be concerned with the finance situation of it, because in their mind, they're saying, I have this contract, I need this boat, right? And so if they say, okay, I'm going to give you this contract because you have the boat, they're thinking that you actually have the boat. If you don't have the boat, that's not really on their radar. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that you actually are able to perform whatever task you are completing for the government. So you need to either be able to have the money up front to make that purchase, or you need to be the person who actually has the boat for sale. It's easier if you're the person who has the boat for sale. So that's why they do minority certification, to make sure you can.
You starting to break up again, Queen. You breaking up again, Queen. She was just breaking how the process works, in attaining different things. Whether you get paid on the front end or paid on the back end, it's based on your business model. I was just going to ask her, what does she suggest is the best model, but I'm pretty sure she may just say everybody's different. But I'm still going to ask. Definitely interested in this. This is a very interesting realm, and it pertains to everybody, regardless of what business you have. I'm actually, hopefully, she is able to come back on, because we're looking like we're coming close to 8 o'clock. But I was going to ask her for some. Oh, great, she's coming back.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So I'm sorry, I'm relaxing. I have to fly out tomorrow to do a training. So everything she said, I can attest to that. I am curious. What city are you in? I heard you say you were in Florida.
Tallahassee.
You're in Tallahassee. I'm down in Tampa. So I'm currently going through all of that and have been dealing with a lot of politicians in the last 4 or 5 days. Had a 4-hour meeting on Saturday with procurement directors, different entities of the county and the city. So the minority certification here in the state of Florida, I will give you, I'm sorry, I didn't know I had this TV up this loud. I will give you post the information that you can go to Suncoast for micro lending. They sent me the application this morning, and I will forward that to anyone that is in the state of Florida, because
Okay.
as I'm assuming, Suncoast is only in the state of Florida.
Okay.
Is what I was assuming when I looked for it outside the state of Florida. I didn't find it. So it's a very, very easy process of getting a micro lending loan, and it's up to $25,000. And the only thing you do, you need $55 to open up a business account to be able to receive this. And when we met with the mayor on, was it Thursday? Terry, was it Thursday? Yeah. We met with the mayor on Thursday, and this was the deal that the mayor had given for the economic development, the agreement that they made with Suncoast Credit Union through economic development. And they're having a real big thing here in Tampa. So as far as the contracting, you need to apply for that contract. Everything that she told you was exactly 100% correct, because for over the last week, solid week, I was meeting with all the officials over the public works, water, emergency disaster. We don't have not one African-American certified electrician in the city of Tampa registered as a minority-owned business. Not one. So I'm currently looking for a Black electrician, whether I know him or not. I can plug him directly to the plug that is basically opened the door for me and all of my people to be able to go in, because I own a trucking company as well.
Okay.
But and I'm formally a broker, and the only thing I have to do is it was just so much that I didn't want to be affiliated with the brokers. By us, my husband, the trucking company is in my husband's name, and the brokerage was in my name. So it is so much information that I was able to obtain, because every meeting that we had was a closed door meeting last week, and they were not expecting me to be there. But by law, I didn't know that I had, as a public citizen of the city of Tampa, that I had the ability to be able to enter that meeting, because they are public servants. And it is so much. It was literally 8 people was the committee. It was a CCNA meeting, which is a selection committee meeting. They literally went around the table and were saying yay or nay on a vote to exit out the 4th contractor. Literally only 8 people decided on this, and it was a public meeting. So by the time I entered, they asked me who I was representing. I didn't even tell them that my husband was with me. I told them that I was representing my company, which is Hillside Solutions. And he was representing Go Services LLC, because he does hauling, emergency relief, recycling, all of that. Recently just got a contract in Pasco County. So I was just sharing all the different things that I basically build individuals' businesses, help them, and, find funding, build their LLC, the EIN, if they owe back taxes, advocate on behalf of them and negotiate with the IRS to be able to get them on a payment plan, right? Therefore, they can
get. Excuse me, sorry to cut you off. What's your IG?
Erica the Boss.
Erica with a C or a K?
Erica, ERIKA, the Boss. THEBOSSE.
THE
BOSSE.
Okay. All right. Erica the Boss. All right.
So what I was able to, no C is in it. No C is in it.
Just K. ERIKATHEBOSSE.
Yes. So what I was able to do was show them financial documents to where I purchase trucks and trailers for my clients, and I deliver them in any state. So I was able to get wire transfers of that money that goes into my Bank of America account, right? Mm-hmm. So it was so many things that I still went by the book, but I was able to file taxes properly, not owing on that money, because I purchased the trucks and the trailers in my name, but when they get delivered, they're transferred immediately. So they're doing the deal at the dealership as I'm there, but when they title it, it's going in my client's name. So it's a very quick deal. I have learned so much as a transportation consultant. That's what I'm going to Austin, Texas tomorrow for the rest of the week to do training on freight brokering and dispatching classes and teaching individual. Her name is SW Investments, and she's purchased 13 trucks. So what they're doing, they don't know the end of it that I know. So I'm going to teach them to open up the carrier side, to teach them the dispatching part and the freight brokering. But I also want them to be able to get exactly what I do. So from various factoring companies, insurance companies, whoever I plug my clients with, whether it's a DOT physician or a urinalysis company or ELD company, I'm able to get a monthly check. Sometimes I get 3 or 4 months worth of checks. 3 or 4 checks a month, whether it be from DAT, load board, whoever, however many times that I'm forwarding that client. On the factoring side, I'm getting a percentage, because whatever that carrier invoices factors for the month, I didn't want a $100 check. I wanted a percentage. So it's easier for me to negotiate percentages. And let me just be very honest. I knew nothing about this business 3 years ago. Nothing about the transportation business as a whole. So I was able to make over $300,000 traveling nationwide, just doing freight broker trainings and teaching individuals how to go directly to the load board, and then connecting them with 2 million shippers nationwide. So how to deal directly with the shipper. It's so many ways that we are able to make the money that we can make once you become endowed in the transportation industry. You're not just making money one way. In the transportation industry, you can make money every which way your foot pivots, right? And consulting is what you want to be able to do. It's not. Yes, I teach dispatching, but that's the wrong name. Gugogs, I'm sorry. But the minority certification and the AA certification, you need to contact your local municipal, wherever you get your certification from. If you do it in Tallahassee, ours is done here in City Hall, in the mayor's office, right? So those fees that they try to charge of $6,600 for 8A certification, we don't have to pay that. We get it done for free here in the City Hall. But you have to have a relationship with them. They're not just doing any and everybody. So now what they're wanting me to do is to build a whole bunch of little legs of everything that I do, because now they invited me to be a part of a committee on a $1.5 billion construction project. Billion with a B, as in boy. So I knew nothing about this when I walked into this meeting and just introduced myself. I was just really going, my husband and I were to sit in under 2 different, hold on, let me look. Were you able to find it, the IG name? Because they're asking.
I'll type it in. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
Has an investor put it in.
Okay. And you all are more than welcome to contact me. In fact, I'm going to start, it's so crazy because I'm going to start teaching the contracting part in May. And what I want to be able to do is show them they will be able to see from my screen on Zoom how to go in and do their vendor application. And another good one is the housing authority. That is the easiest, one of the easiest ones is for your local housing authority to become a vendor, especially here in the city of Tampa. It is so much information, you guys. Yes, it seems like it's very strategic and it's tedious and it's a headache, but it is worth it because we're being shut out of billions of dollars worth of projects. And as you know, we're having the Super Bowl here in Tampa next year. Already they have taken over 300 additional applications just since January the 1st.
Now, does that have to be for the city of Tampa, or someone could get it even though they're in another city in the state, or another state maybe?
Well, you can be from another state, but let me show you all how to get around that. You can be in any state, have your business in any state in America. If you want to work in any state, you can still keep your license valid if you're in Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland. The only thing you're going to do if you're coming to the state of Florida to do any type of work, construction work, public works, whatever, you're going to leave that license in Maryland, but you're also going to do a foreign business LLC or corporation. You're just filing it and it still has the same age. Does that make sense?
So is it an additional document that you file in the state that you want to be in, or in your state?
It's just like filing a new license. See, what I do is I open companies in other states, and then I'm able to sell those off to whoever needs those. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It may be worth $10,000. I had a client, his name was Tony. He had 42 carrier vans in Winder, Georgia. He was trying to sign those on with Amazon as an independent. But what he didn't have, they had already approved him for a $2 million loan. But what he couldn't prove was he had 5 years worth of LLC experience, where the business was aged for 5 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he contacted me. I didn't know him from a can of paint, but because I've done the freight broker class for it's going to be about 2 years and 6 months in August. And so many different people had contacted and referred him in various, because I'm in so many different trucking groups, had referred me. So he called me and asked me when I had to do his MC&D, because I do MC/DOT numbers and stuff as well. Did I have anybody that had an LLC with 5 years of age? That is what gave me the idea to start opening companies all over the country and just leaving them what they're called as dormant companies.
Mm-hmm. Like age companies, age shelf companies.
Age companies, and you can just sell them. I can sell them for $10,000, $15,000. Some of them are close to 2 years old.
Now I have a question for you. So are they still just as valuable if they don't have, let's say, tax return information for those businesses? Does it matter as long as you keep them active?
Well, long as you keep them active, because certain criteria does not want that particular tax information. But let's just say I can forward my information for the tax and say, and I don't have to. Some businesses, some contracts don't even require that, because they're going to see that you purchased that as an existing business. I mean, as a aged company. So they know that there's common sense. They know that you're not going to have tax return on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what you have to be able to prove, this is why it is important for us to, instead of living for the weekend, this is what we need to be able to do. Because just imagine if you sold 7 or 8 $40 companies that you pay for, which is the state, how much they are in the state of Kentucky, and you sold them for $10,000 to $15,000 a piece. You see how that's very, very passive income?
Yeah.
And I mean, I make great money, but I don't waste any money. I don't party. Right now I'm on my way to wealth building, because I've made the proper relationships in the last couple of weeks, because as bad as we may hate politics, you guys, politics is the way to go. And when I say I don't think it gets any more pro-Black than me, however, you have to be intentional in everything that you do. You have to be intentional. You have to move a certain way. That doesn't mean that you're not true to who you say you are. You just have to be intentional in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because we have to get in position. The guy that is basically opened the back door for me is wanting me to take his position. And he's 50-something years old and has been in that position for 30 years. But he doesn't want to leave the position because his children doesn't have position. So it's, we speak in a coded language when we're very intelligent, and we can't just come out and say, I want to hire you and prime you for this position. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So me meeting these certain individuals of this entity behind closed doors, without them saying that, I'm able to hear that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't have to have any degrees. You just have to have somebody that knows that you're serious about working. You're serious about being a contractor. You're serious about the name that stands behind you and the people that you deal with to subcontract with. Just like she said, what I did not know is one commissioner just threw me on a contract, like literally went to him with a meeting on January 17th. The next day, he's texting to be a hauler and a recycler. And they're billing the county residents for wherever we pick up at. So only thing I have to do is snap a picture of wherever we pick up at. They're billing that client, but my employees are also able to take that washer, that dryer, that stove, refrigerator, water heater, dishwasher, and recycle and get money same day, as long as they have a valid driver's license or form of ID at any recycling center. Any type of tin, aluminum, steel, metal, all of that. Does that make sense?
And and basically They have the contract, but subcontracting the work out to the individuals who's able to do it.
Who, the commissioner, the Pasco County?
Yes.
No, he just
No, they
basically.
have the contract, but you're the one who subcontracted. You got a contract from the county, and you're subcontracting the work out. Correct?
Well, I own a hauling company too, but that's what my husband does. So I'm basically just putting a lot of different deals together for a lot of different people and building their companies and bringing them through the doors that I go through and open. Does that make sense? Because a lot of
Yes.
them know how to do their LLC, their EIN, or their business license, or know who to contact about starting a business bank account and business credit, Dun and Bradstreet. So it is my job to advocate for that client and get them up to par and constantly hold their hand until they're able to be a subcontractor or contractor. That is my goal. Have I done that? No, because I just jumped into this industry 4 weeks ago as far as the contracting and the minority certification and all of that. But it seems easy, but what we have to understand is anything that the majority is doing, it's not hard at all. We just have to be disciplined to stick to the task.
Okay. Okay. So you've gotten contracts. You said you're just getting into the contract 4 weeks, so you haven't gotten a contract?
I hadn't, what is so crazy is I haven't even gotten the paperwork on that. So what he's currently doing until they can create it, whatever the contract looks like, he's just texting what the jobs are and where to pick up so any day now I'm expecting that paperwork.
But they're already doing the work, basically.
Yep.
So with them doing the work, you would basically be paying them until you get reimbursed through the contract, correct?
Or yes, and billing the county once a month. But I have apartment complexes too. I have realtors of Keller Williams and various individuals contacting me for their sellers who are either losing their homes. I do clean outs, recycling, hauling, any type of, I just picked up a steel tub 2 days ago where the clients call at the last minute. And the only thing I have to do is tell my employer, or call my husband and say, hey, I got a client that $1,700 or $1,800, almost $1,800 that I got in downtown Tampa off of Adamo, a Triple Crown trailer company. And that's where they're able to throw the washer, dryer, refrigerator. I mean, I've literally hauled probably 20, 30 times in the last 4 weeks. And
okay.
Doing the apartment clean outs, the only thing I'm doing is taking a whole bunch of heavy duty garbage bags on clean outs. And I'm not doing any work. You have to understand, I'm just negotiating and doing the negotiations and the deals and contacting the residential headquarters, sending in the insurance. The insurance was $125 down and $49 a month. So you see, they make it sound like it's so difficult, but it's really not difficult. And I don't have more than 4 employees, so I don't have to have workman's comp insurance.
And these are the people who's actually doing the moving and the hauling.
This is the company. This is my company that is in my husband's name. So you have to understand, my name are corporate names, but I'm able to work as a chief operations procurement contractor on anybody's company, and I'm negotiating as if I'm an employee for them. Does that make sense? Because they don't know, because I have emails attached to all of them. They don't know who I am and that I'm just really a consultant, because most of my clients who I do open companies, they may not have the communication skills that I have. Not to make that sound demeaning or anything, but I would rather them not communicate on behalf. If they know that that's not their strong suit, hire me and I get that done.
So somebody have a particular company, they could come to you and say, hey, I'm looking for some type of work or some type of business for my business or my company. And you would say, okay. And you give a couple of calls and negotiate and say, hey, I have this many hauling jobs for you. It's going to pay this much. at the end of 2 weeks or a month? And would you like it that they say, yes, I would. Then you send them to the address. They go ahead and get the work done. At the end of the month or the end of 2 weeks, you pay them and you get reimbursed, basically.
I pay them every 2 weeks. That's what my agreement is. I don't want anybody to have to do work for me, and I have to pay them once a month. Now, I have to wait for the bigger companies to pay me on the contracts that I currently have, if that makes sense. But I wouldn't do that to my employees who are small-owned companies such as myself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But if they have, let's say they know where a contract is, or somebody has told them, or they've met somebody at the recycling center or another trucker, I'm able to contact whoever they want me to contact once I research whatever it may be and put in the proper call. Introduce myself that I'm working on behalf of whatever that company is. I'm the administrator. That's how my email is set up, all of that.
Okay.
If they want a website, if whatever they want me to do on the business sector side, that's exactly what I do, and make it all together.
Okay.
This is in any city. This is in any city.
This is in any city in the U.S. basically. So people can have a business. And now let me ask you this question: does it have to be in the hauling trucking lane, or that's specific? That's what you specialize in?
No,
Can
any
it be
business.
other areas?
Any business that they need opened up. Like I have products. I have hair care products, and I created a beard oil line. So I have somebody that's trying to finish the deal today. We're trying to work out the kinks today, where he's white labeling my product. His clients won't know any difference, right? So I had to do the research and pay the babe, help me out. What is that? Have the products tested. So yeah, no, I get so it's a company where they test all the chemicals and the label. So they'll say that it's FDA certified, but really what it is that particular lab is FDA certified, where they're putting their name on the line for my product. Does that make sense? That if anything happens, they'll say, well, this particular product with these particular components is FDA certified. So it's any business. It's any business that they're wanting to set up. But my specialty is trucking, negotiating, tax liens, back taxes, and all that stuff.
Okay. So everybody make sure y'all go follow Erica the Boss. I'm definitely going to be in contact with you on the back end. So make sure you look out for Trey Snatch, because I have some more questions, and I have some resources and network. I believe that, we can definitely collaborate and do some business and make some money together. I do want to, because it's going on 8:20 now, so, and they haven't given me a timer. So they give you usually an hour. They don't let me ride out for an hour and 20 minutes. So I don't want it to cut off abruptly. You know how Instagram do when you start dropping them jewels. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
We definitely gonna have to get you on your own Mindset Monday episode, so we can start breaking down some of these concepts and aspects piece by piece in the best way for people to understand, because this information is not readily known to us, like you were saying. And I'd like to, just get a better understanding from a layman's terms, from a lot of different aspects, because I deal with a lot of individuals in a lot of different lanes. Trucking just happens to be one of them. But so yes, everybody who's on here, make sure y'all follow Erica the Boss. It's pinned in there. Make sure y'all follow Black Small Biz, my guest. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mindset Monday. My mind is just blown right now, because it's just an overload of information that's been given today. And I wasn't expecting this, but you never know what to expect on Mindset Mondays. And anybody wondering, yes, I am saving this live, And I also screen record all of my Mindset Mondays and put them on my YouTube channel, which is same thing, Trey Snatch. So if you don't catch it within the next 24 hours, you'll be able to catch it on my YouTube channel. All my Mindset Mondays go there. Do you have any products, services that you would like to promote, and where can the people find you, and how can they get in contact with you, Queen?
With me at 1-800-216-9106. They can also reach out to me on Hillside Brokerage on Instagram, Hillside Brokerage on Facebook. You can find my products, Element by Erica with a K, on Facebook. If you want to open up, if you want to start your own product line, if you want to become a vendor, international import export for hair in China, is so many different things that I have learned, and I currently am involved in. We can use my Zoom on Monday if we want, or Tuesday or another day. It does very pricey, so I would love to join you all this week, but I will be in training. I fly out tomorrow, and the training starts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I fly back on Saturday. But I would love.
Yeah, I do my Mindset Mondays on every single Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I never see it because I stay so busy. Like, look, I literally just got through cooking dinner, and I'm getting ready to go pack and get all my documents ready for the class, the company that I'm opening up. And I would love to share that information. I am going to video bits and pieces of that. You know, this is a Black sister who has 13 trucks. And she's a huge investor in Austin, Texas. So I'm going to video pieces of that because I'm pretty sure I won't be able to hold it all. And I'm going to try to work it out some way, but I want to share as much information as I can possibly give to the people, because we cannot get this. We can't get this. And when I go on, if I'm doing a Facebook Live, I've done that for almost 2 years. I can't tell you how many times when I start dropping jewels, my Facebook Lives are interrupted and removed.
Well, if you're available next week, Monday, you know, we could definitely go on and get deeper into it. And, you know, like I say, I'll screen record it, so it'll definitely be saved. And, yeah, man, the people need to know who you are. The people need to know the information that you bring in, that you're teaching, because we definitely need to know this, and, you know, take advantage of these opportunities, so, you know, that we can continue to elevate and expand and build our empires and legacies. So, you know, if you're available, we definitely can, you know, get into the whole nitty gritty next week, Monday. But if not, whatever Monday that you're free, Queen, we definitely 7 p.m. We definitely get into it. She says Zoom is the only way. Yeah,
Absolutely. Because I can share my screen to show you all. I mean, it's so many to get off the struggle bus. Teaching your own credit repair, starting your own credit repair business, because I love everybody to be self-sufficient and work for themselves. I don't believe in my people working for anybody. I don't believe, because at any moment you can lose your job, right? Not to say that I look down on it. Let me be very transparent, and I'll let you all go with this. But if you have 10 clients that you're teaching credit repair to at $99 a week, that's $1,000 a week. So the more self-sufficiency arms that you have, the more capable, because we're sitting on the cusp of a deep recession. We're sitting on the cusp, and you can look at Victoria's Secret, Bed and Bath and Beyond. You can look at all the stores that are closing, Pier 1 Imports, so many things that I have inside. And I don't watch television, but I do watch USA Today. You can look and keep up with money. If I focus on money around the world, because how you can tell what's going to occur in the United States by when people stop spending money on the opposite end of the world. Okay.
Okay. Most definitely.
All right. Well, you all have a great night, and it was a pleasure joining you all. Okay.
Thank you. I look forward to speaking with you soon, Queen.
Likewise.
All right. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another Kings and Queens, another jam-packed, information, value-filled Mindset Monday. You know what it is. Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle. Pennies to dollars, dollars to leverage your way to freedom. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. Y'all know what it is. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm saving this live. I'm also going to put it on my YouTube channel, so y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Trey Snatch. You know what I'm saying? Bringing the value. We creating royalty through financial literacy and these different opportunities. So make sure, thank you. So make sure y'all y'all go follow Black Small Biz. Make sure y'all go follow Queen Erica the Boss. Make sure you get in contact with them, and let's go ahead and get this, let's get this business and create our legacies. And, like I always say, one day we'll be sipping pina coladas on a resort on the beach, all paid for by income producing businesses and assets. So let's go ahead and utilize these resources and these networks out here and go ahead and take action on this information. You know what I'm saying? Educate and activate. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. I'm saving this live. Y'all know what it is. Y'all purchase the merchandise, the music. Y'all supporting me. Y'all book a consultation, purchase one of the ebooks. Y'all investing in yourself. All right. So let's go ahead and take our businesses to the next level in 2020. And thank y'all for joining me. And I will see y'all same place, same time next week, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle. Y'all have a good evening.